I like Dana White. I don't dislike him. I like UFC. There's certain fighters that I like. I don't watch it as much as my husband does, but because he likes the skill of fighting, whereas I get involved in the story and the drama of it because I'm a chick. But they were he was talking about Bud Light with Tucker Carlson. Now, Bud Light just dropped, what did, $106 million? Is that what it was? Is that what the figure was?
I think so.
They dropped a ton of cash. It's like one of the biggest, I think it's like one of the biggest sponsorship deals in UFC's history. It was a record sponsorship deal that they made. So they've rejoined UFC. They used to be with UFC, but they rejoined with UFC. And this is, I mean, it is a massive, I think it was like $106 billion. It was, or $1 million, sorry. It was a lot. $105 million a year sponsorship deal.
Yes.
$105 million a year. So this deal was made after the whole Dylan Mulvaney thing. Now, if you remember with Dylan Mulvaney, you had Anheuser-Busch, which was bought out by InBev. You had Anheuser-Busch, their whole marketing team was like, yeah, this sounds like a good idea. Let's do it. And they had worked with Dylan Mulvaney for a digital influencer campaign. And that's what made everybody mad in the first place. That's what started all of it. And so then they kept doubling down on it. And they never apologized. They kind of reshuffled some things, but they never said that, which literally was the most basic thing that you had to do. So that's it. So after all of that, then they're trying to rehabilitate themselves. And so they bought a $105 million a year sponsorship deal with UFC. And so now everyone had been boycotting Bud Light, all this stuff. And now here's Dana White on this. Listen.
Let me tell you what, if you consider yourself a patriot, right? You're a patriot, you should be drinking gallons of Bud Light. Believe me when I tell you.
Wait. I should be boycotting Bud Light.
Gallons of Bud Light. You should have Bud Light drums stacked up in your garage and drinking it right out of the keg. They are way more aligned with you than most of these other beer companies are. That I guarantee you. Take it from somebody who's in the know, who does business with beer companies. You are way more aligned with Bud Light than you are with any other
I
beer
disagree
company.
with that because we're going to talk to a guy behind a beer company coming up who's way more aligned. I think he's kind of joking a little bit. I hope so. But
He's paid for the messaging.
He's paid for the messaging. I don't dislike Dana White. I like Dana White. But you're getting paid, dude. You got bought. That's not a victory. You surrendered to a check. You surrendered to a check. Just be honest about this, right? Let me tell you something. No one wants to destroy Bud Light. And why is it patriotic to drink a damn Belgian company's beer? You know they're not an American company, right? They were bought out by InBev. That's a Belgian-based company. Ask me how I know this. Grew up in St. Louis, lived 2 blocks from the brewery. I fed a damn Clydesdale. And we talked about this yesterday. So they're a Belgian company. It's not even it's not even an American company. So I don't know. I don't think that you judge patriotism by how much crappy foreign beer you drink. In fact, I know you don't judge patriotism by how much crappy foreign beer you drink. Secondly, no one's doing this to Bud Light. No one is doing this to them. They messed up, and then they kind of just tried to shuffle it around and think that you were going to forget about it. Literally, like I said, no one wants to hurt a company. No one wants to hurt anybody's job. That's what makes the right different from the left, or at least most of the people on the right. I wrote a whole book about this, literally, called Grace Canceled. To have a pathway to reconciliation, to redemption and reconciliation, starts with one step. Your acknowledgement of wrong, which includes saying, hey, we messed up. Sorry about that. Particularly to the ladies, the conservative ladies, who were really like, really, you're going to do us like this, Bud Light? You're going to do us like this. And I appreciated all of these strong alpha dudes who stood up and were like, no, you're not going to do our ladies like this. You're not going to allow this guy to make a mockery of who our ladies are by cosplaying as a chick. You're not doing this. I really appreciated them standing up. And every other conservative chick I know feels the same way. Because that's how we viewed it. We viewed it as it's nice to see men stand up. We like that. That's hot. We liked when they did it. I don't like this. Because all they had to do, all Bud Light had to do, was say, ladies, we're sorry. We messed up. I joked about having like an ad campaign, like, having like an old school, thinking like Tawny Katane on the White Snake car kind of video. I was even joking about that. All they had to do was come out and say, ladies, we're sorry. We messed up. We didn't mean to have a dude cosplay as you. You're more than that. That's all. They literally just had to say, ladies, we're sorry. That's it. No one's calling for bust anybody's kneecaps. We weren't calling for anybody to lose their jobs. I never called for anybody to be fired. We never called for any of this stuff. This is literally the most basic B thing you can do, is just say, sorry. Why is that so hard for some people to understand? And then they act like because it's unresolved, it's the fault of the ladies who were offended by a dude cosplaying as a woman. All they had to do, this company, was say sorry. That's it. And $105 million that does not translate into an apology. $105 million. If you're going to fight the culture war like this, you might as well just surrender now. This was not a victory. This was a surrender. This was a sellout, a sold out, a bought. That's what this was. And it wasn't just a white flag. It was a check that was waving in the air. I'm all for business, believe. I'm all for capitalism, believe. But I'm not for telling people that the culture war, this battle was won because we got paid, and they didn't even give you the respect of apologizing with that check. Did they even write "we're sorry" in the memo part? I bet they didn't. So that's not a victory. That's an L. All they had to do was say sorry. You know what would have been super cool is if, like, a condition of this deal, take your $105 million. I'm not going to begrudge you making money. But it would have been super, super alpha for them to go, you know what? And an apology for the ladies. That would have been cool. That didn't happen. Disappointed on both counts. So no, it doesn't change things for me. It doesn't change things for a lot of other people. And I don't know why people act like a simple apology is rocket science. But that's the first step on a pathway to reconciliation. We didn't do this to them. They did it to themselves.